Tea production in factories involves several stages that transform freshly picked tea leaves into the dried tea that you purchase in stores. The process varies depending on the type of tea being produced, such as black, green, oolong or white tea. However, the following steps outline the general process for making tea in factories, focusing on black tea, which is one of the most commonly processed teas. Plucking. Tea leaves are hand-picked or mechanically harvested from tea plants. The best quality teas are usually made from the top two leaves and a bud. Withering. The freshly picked tea leaves are spread out on large racks or trays to wither. Withering reduces the moisture content of the leaves by 30 to 40% and makes them pliable for further processing. This process can take 8 to 24 hours, depending on the climate and the factory setup. Rolling. The withered leaves are rolled using mechanical rollers. This process twists the leaves, breaking their cell walls and releasing the natural juices, which start the oxidation process. Rolling can also help shape the leaves into their characteristic appearance. In orthodox processing, leaves are gently rolled, while in CTC, which stands for crush, tear, curl processing, leaves are crushed and torn into smaller pieces. Oxidation, also known as fermentation, is a crucial step. The rolled leaves are spread out in a cool, humid environment to oxidize. During this process, the leaves turn from green to a coppery brown color as the natural enzymes in the leaves react with oxygen. The duration of oxidation affects the flavor, color, and strength of the tea. Black tea undergoes full oxidation, which can take several hours. Next, we move on to firing or drying. The oxidized leaves are then dried using hot air in large drying machines. This step stops the oxidation process and removes most of the remaining moisture, preserving the tea. The drying process also brings out the flavor and aroma of the tea. The final moisture content is typically around 3 to 5%. After drying, it's time for sorting and grading. Once dried, the tea leaves are sorted according to size and quality. This is done using a series of sieves and sometimes by hand for more delicate teas. The tea is then graded based on the leaf size and the quality of the final product. Common grades for black tea include whole leaf, broken leaf, fannings and dust. Now, let's talk about packaging. The sorted and graded tea is packed into bags or boxes, often vacuum sealed or nitrogen flushed to keep it fresh. For export, tea is typically packed in bulk containers and shipped to blending facilities or directly to retailers. Blending, well, it's optional but quite common. In many cases, tea is blended to create consistent flavors or special blends. This involves mixing different batches of tea or adding flavorings like bergamot oil for Earl Grey or spices for chai. Quality control is crucial. Throughout the process, tea is regularly tested for quality. Tasting or cupping is a critical part of this to ensure that the flavor profile is consistent. Physical and chemical tests are also conducted to check moisture content, color, and potential contaminants. Now, distribution. The final product is distributed to retailers or directly to consumers ready for brewing. Special processes for different teas. For green tea, the leaves are steamed or pan-fired immediately after withering to prevent oxidation, retaining their green color. Oolong tea is partially oxidized, somewhere between green and black tea, and is often rolled and oxidized multiple times. White tea, on the other hand, undergoes minimal processing and is simply withered and dried. These steps represent the typical processes involved in tea production in factories, but the exact methods can vary based on the region, the type of tea, and the quality requirements.